Broadcasting live from the Georgia World Congress Center. For Fintech South 2022, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by Atlanta Blockchain Center. Now, here's your host.
Lee Kantor here, back at Fintech South 2022. I'm so excited to be talking to an old friend, Amyn Sadruddin with Intellekt. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, man? Long time no talk.
I know. So what brings you to Fintech South?
So we are a finalist for the Innovation Showcase.
Oh, congrats.
So thank you so much. So we pitched yesterday to investors, and today we'll be pitching, I think, during the keynote hour. So pretty excited, and gotten a lot of great support from the TAC folks and all the folks at Fintech South.
So tell us about Intellekt, how you serving folks. What's the product service?
Yep. So we're a platform, SaaS platform, and what we do is we help fintechs onboard their customers. It's a self-onboarding tool, and basically what we do is we offer compliance around the onboarding process, and we offer the data to be cleaned during that process from their customers so that they can efficiently onboard them. And then they can also leverage the data to run, cross-sell, upsell as well. So basically what we do is at the inception point of how a fintech onboards their customer, we basically enrich the data that they are processing so that they can be more intuitive with it. So hence the Intellekt.
Now, what was the genesis of the idea? How did it come about?
So I joined this company as co-founder and chief revenue officer about 2 years ago. The origin of the company was a managed services firm, and we did a lot of data evolution projects for financial institutions, banks, neobanks, crypto, and we saw a high resonance that all fintechs have an issue or have some gaps or pain points around the onboarding process. So we basically came in and we were doing a lot of data aggregation work and found that, through the tools and technologies that we've built, that we can, transform this into a platform that could be a self-serve tool. So.
And then what are some of the symptoms that, your potential clients are having where Intellekt's the solution? Like, what are clues that they might have a problem that they may not even realize?
Sure. Folks in the fintech space are, it's highly competitive now. It's very digital in nature. And if you look at some of the bigger banks or bigger institutions, they're trying to serve a very digital audience. Millennials, Gen Zs, no one wants to go to a brick and mortar, but some of the items that need to be digested by a fintech is sometimes very brick and mortar related, right? Submitting an ID, right? It has to be on point, right? It has to be scanned properly. My name, Amyn Sadruddin, as long as it is, but I sometimes shorten and just do Amyn S. And depending on how that institution is collecting my profile information, whether it's, connecting to a Facebook account or whether it's attaching to my email, there's a lot of data points that need to be aggregated and make sure that when you build the persona of an Amyn or a Lee, that you do it at the most accurate level so that when you verify them to transact on your platform, that you're doing it with accuracy so that that, hey, I know that if I give Lee a credit card in my platform, or if I let him transact on my platform, that I know that he's not going to commit fraud. So, and
then it's also, there's opportunity because if you're using different, like Amyn S, whatever Amyn means, right?
Exactly.
Then they want to make sure that there's a right offer at the right time for you that's relevant to you rather than just not you.
Yeah, I think one of the pain points that we saw, and we did a lot of customer discovery through fintech CXOs in the market, and a lot of them always look at the data that they collect from their customer as like an after effect, that they want to then leverage that data afterwards to then do the cross-sell and upsell. But, the origination of when the customer submits their data is when you should tackle it and clean it and prep it so that whenever you put it into your lead management system or your CRM system, or you want to do continuous monitoring on the individual, it all boils down to clean data. So that's kind of what we provide, is that, we do a lot of shit cleaning on the front end and then provide a lot of intuitiveness on the back end so that when a fintech wants to onboard a customer, they have a lot of confidence in who they're onboarding, because compliance is also an issue. I think in yesterday, the 3 tracks that I attended, including the main stage, compliance was touched on, and that, they're
on each one of them.
On each one of them, yeah. So that they were trying to figure out is how do we instill more accurate compliance, because compliance, kind of presents 2 issues for the fintech. Is one is that they'll get penalized, right, for not doing it properly,
right,
and then you lose a customer too. So now you're like double negative revenue, right?
And it's table stakes now.
Correct.
And then for you, do you have any examples of when you are that clean at the beginning that the results are worth the effort to do that?
Absolutely. I think a lot of companies now are using identity verification tools and to make sure that they, have fewer false positives.
Right.
And, an identity verification tool is only as strong as what you put into it. So kind of as mentioned, all of I think we have 6 active customers right now, and each of them, we basically reduce the cycle time for onboarding. So if you look at one of our customers, a crypto exchange, they had a backlog of about 35 days to onboard a customer.
Really?
So 35. This is 35 days. Yeah. And it's because there's, crypto is a very wild west, industry. There's different wallets that are available, different wallets that need to be identified and connected to a persona. So that presents a lot of problem in being able to really do a workflow that, will give the company confidence in how they are servicing that individual coming on to their crypto exchange. So, all the verification needs and cleaning the data up front makes it easier for them to then have a better customer experience plan around that, because you want to activate them and then serve them with who they are and how you can potentially, engage them in other opportunities that fintech could have, right? So if the crypto exchange says that, hey, you're available for maybe a crypto line of credit, that boils down to you knowing who that person is and what he's transacting with. So one is that, reducing the cycle time has kind of been our key, I would say, secret sauce and / like value prop is that, we can reduce the cycle time and being able to onboard your customer, and we're more accurate with it because we're cleaning the data and we're giving clean data to verification tools. So
in that case, it went from 35 days to what?
4 days.
Wow. So that's dramatic.
It's dramatic. Yeah. And, creating those workflows has been a key piece of what we do is, when data gets digested.
Do they believe you when you tell them that? Because that seems like...
well, we don't. We just show them. I mean, we run a POC. We take a set. We take a set of customers and we, show them here's how you're ingesting your data about the individual, and here's a better way to do it through our technology that will give you more insights. And because you're cleaning the data up front, you're now able to enrich that for your cross-sell and upsell, because now you actually have a holistic individual versus you trying to go back to say, okay, can we pull lead from CRM? Can we pull him from our credit card system and see what is he doing now? But when you clean the data up front, it makes it empowers the fintech by a lot, because now the C-suite has a good viewpoint of where they are and if there are gaps. So let's say I'm going to just focus on crypto. Let's say there's a certain coin or token that is either being spent or being transacted on more, or there's one that's more volatile. Now, as a company, you have a good know of who that customer base is that's transacting on that sort of crypto and how you can better service them, because now you're just aware. Now,
for you at Fintech South, I know you're in this
Innovation Challenge.
Right. So now you have that going for you, but you're also getting, it sounds like, a lot out of the education that's happening here.
Of course, yeah. That's been phenomenal. I think Fintech South and TAG did a really great job with getting industry experts to break down. I think I learned a lot about ethics today. That was one of the things that I think was touched on a lot, like how do you, in fintech ethics or, ethics law, and how do you make sure that there's no racial discrimination with data, and how do you assess someone getting a loan? That was the most insightful for me. I know there's going to be some gaming conversation, NFT conversations today, so I'm looking forward to those as well.
And if somebody wants to learn more about Intellekt, what's the website?
Intellekt AI.
And then the ideal customer for you is who?
BAS, Neobank, Lender, Lentech.
And then at the leadership level, that's who you want to have more conversations with?
Yep. Yeah, we were fortunate that we were able to connect with Johnson Cook at Greenlight. So it's definitely connection making. What's so awesome about this stuff being in person is that all the folks that I reached out to on LinkedIn, yeah, they're here. And I'm like, hey, open your LinkedIn messages box, man. Yeah, you remember me reaching out? So I think it's, having in-person events is always, you get to feel energy, transfer energy, and I think that holds a lot of value for business. But, for me, it's always, building relationships. So that, these in-person events like this are always just so effective.
Well, congratulations on all the success.
Thanks, Lee.
All right, this is Lee Kantor. We'll be back to you at Fintech South 2022.
This episode has been brought to you by Atlanta Blockchain Center, the catalyst for Atlanta's emergence as the premier blockchain innovation hub globally, through cultivating entrepreneurship, inclusivity, and education. To learn more, go to atlblockchaincenter.com.